Hi there, I'm Alex, and today I'm going to teach you how to play blues piano in the key of A. We'll get right into it with an example here. Right. So those are some of the riffs I'll be going over. To start off, I'll show you the rhythm pattern we have in the left hand. So we're playing A blues, and in the A blues we got our A chord with a root fifth here, a D chord, and an E chord. And for each of these we'll be doing a root fifth pattern, and then moving to a root sixth and a root seventh. Like that. And then for D it looks like and for E looks like that. So the A has a similar pattern to the E with that sharp on the sixth right there, whereas the D has no sharps, no black keys. So we'll go through that, around to that nice and slow with the form. D chord, back to A, our 1. Then we'll jump up to our 4, our D chord, back to our 1. Then we're going to go up to our 5, our E, our 4 chord again, our D, our 1 chord, our A, and then we end on the 5, the E. And back to the top. You can keep looping that over. So playing that rhythm and improvising at the same time can be a little tricky, but yeah, I've spent a bunch of time practicing it, and a good way to practice is to just start off doing it separate. So just working on your left hand, working on your right hand, and then to slowly bringing them together. Playing with backing tracks also helps a lot. All right, so now that we have our left hand rhythm pattern, we can start adding in some riffs and scales in the right hand, and we'll start off with just our blues scale. It looks like that. So we're playing an A blues scale, which is our 1, 3, 4, flat 5, 5, flat 7, and then back to our root. So we'll start just playing it up and down in 1 octave with that pattern in the left hand. Here we go. And down. Back up. And down. Up. And we'll finish it off going down. We can also take that pattern 2 octaves. So instead of stopping here, we can repeat that pattern going up. Let's try that. Another thing we can do is, instead of trying to go up and down with octaves or 2 octaves, we can just kind of stay in this little area with our root, flat 3, 4, flat 5, 5. So I'm just going to riff on that. Just our blues scale in this little pattern. So I went down to the flat 7 a little bit, but mostly staying in this area. So we can play that blues scale up and down, we can play little snippets of it, and we can also play it in octaves to add a little more excitement to the solo. So let's try that. Nice. So we got our pattern in our left hand, our blues scale. We can play little snippets of it. We can play it up multiple octaves, and we can also play it with octaves in the right hand. Added a little passing tone to the root there. So next thing I'll show is a sliding third riff. So for each of our chords in our blues, we can do this little riff like that, where we go from the minor third to the major third. And that's an A. I can do it on the D chord. A again. And then our E. Our D. And our A. Chromatic walking up to the 5th, our E chord. So for our A and our D and our E, it's actually the same pattern to slide into that minor third to major third. Let's see an example of that. There I added some more chromatics. Let's try that one more time. So this will be our minor third to major third riffs. Did an extra chromatic walk into the E. And we're going to go up to our 5 chord, our E, our D, and back to our A. So yeah, we can do the minor third to major third, kind of outlining the A, and you can also walk all the way up to the 5th for each chord if you want. So it gives you a bunch of different variations to use in your playing. So the next riff I'm going to go over is the flat 5 riff. Looks like that. And then it's just basically keeping an octave with the pinky on top, and then we're walking up that blues scale, outlining the flat 5, and then walking back down. And you can vary that a bunch. You can walk up to the 5th if you want, and work your way back down. Here's an example of what that could sound like. that's our flat 5 riff. Another way we can play it is instead of just walking up to the flat 5 like that, we can start on the flat 5 and go down, kind of like this, and then vary the two. So I'll give an example of that. Okay, we're building up a nice bag of tricks here. So we got our flat 5 riff, showed the minor third to major third riffs, and also playing our blues scale. So the next thing I'm going to show is a riff that kind of outlines a A minor 7 chord and uses some of our scale as well. And that looks like this. So I'm sliding in to the 5th, like we did with our blues scale flat 5 riff, hitting the 7th, then I go down to the 4th and the 6th, and the 3rd and the 5th. And in between I'll be hitting that root on the thumb. Can do little trills. It gives you more options. And you can kind of play with it in different patterns to see what works for your solo. Let's go ahead and hear an example of that. To do that little chromatic walk up to the root at the end in a lot of my solos. Cool, so we've got this kind of A minor 7 outline riff, and to make it a little trickier, we can do the same thing, except here with the 3rd, we go minor 3rd to major 3rd like we did before. Right? Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, that's a fun riff. I like that one. All right, so we got ways of playing our, A minor 7 riff or A7 riff where we slide into that major 3rd. Next thing I'll show is our pentatonic riffs. So our pentatonic is like our blues scale, except it doesn't have that flat 5. So it looks like that. And one thing I like to do with it is little like double stop patterns, where we're kind of skipping a note in between each. And we can play these together or play them separate. Give a little taste of what that sounds like. I'll start by playing the pentatonic notes separate like this, walking down and walking up as well. Here we go. just like before with our blues scale, if we want, we can take that multiple octaves, up and down. Let's hear what that sounds like playing the notes together. Blues scale, flat 5 riff, and the last riff I'm going to go over is our bebop riff. Looks like this. We start on the root, walk chromatically down to our flat 7, hit our 9th, and then our 5th. Or whoops, walk down to the 7th, 9th, root, 5th, like that. And we can also do a similar pattern on the 5th, walking down to the 4th, to the 6th, to the 5th, to the 3rd. Let's hear how that bebop riff sounds. We'll do the bebop again here. We'll do it on the 5th. We'll do one more example of the bebop riff here. Combine it with some blues scale. We'll do the bebop from the 5th now. Another bebop. Flat 5 riff. Nice. So now I'll just do a solo going through, playing through all the different examples, and I'll start with a minor third and major third. Maybe I'll do some flat 5 riff. A little bebop. Another example here, going over more that kind of minor 7-y riff. Let's try that out. One more for good measure. I'll start off doing more pentatonic stuff and then throw in the other riffs. All right, so hopefully that helps you, gives you some ideas on how to play the blues and new ideas to try. And yeah, more videos to come. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.